How's it going, everybody? This is a quick video to address a question that I get quite often, just about every single day when it comes to using the LasCut and the LasCut Plus. So this question that I get quite often is, which pad do you recommend whenever you're doing a one-step polish with the LasCut or the LasCut Plus? So I really wished that there was one answer that could satisfy all of these questions when it comes to this process, but it is not that simple. This is because your pad selection is based on the type of paint you're working with and the result you're trying to get. So this means you could be working with paint on the harder side. It could be medium hardness. It could just be really soft as well. So depending on which paint you have, you will need to choose a pad that is best for the situation you're faced with and the result you're trying to get. So there is no one correct answer that's going to satisfy all situations. So your pad selection will have to change, especially if you're doing multiple vehicles. It will have to change, because even myself, after almost 10 years of straight polishing, I still do a test spot before I get deep into the process for every single vehicle. So each vehicle I detail, my pad selection and machine combo, everything else is tailored to that vehicle and the result I am pushing to get. So just to kind of break this down for you, for some people who need like a more clarification. So hard paint, soft paint. Think of your hard paint as really, really hard hair, right? If you have really coarse hair that is not soft and flowing and everything, would you use the softest brush you have to brush your hair? Probably not, right? Because if you use a soft brush and hard hair, you're just going to be moving your brush over your hair follicles, and it's not going to actually move them to form it to make it look like you actually brushed the hair, right? So in that case, you have to use a brush with more firm bristles to accommodate your harder hair follicles to actually move your hair to get result from the action you're putting in. So just to tie that little analogy together, your hard hair is the equivalent to hard paint, and the soft brush is equivalent to a foam finishing pad, and your harder brush could be the equivalent of a wool pad. So instead of using your foam pad to work on your hard paint, if you're trying to actually remove defects, you're going to use a wool pad instead, because it is more aggressive and it's going to give you more action for I'll say more result for the action you put in. So if I was just to recommend a foam polishing pad for every situation, then you're going to run into soft paint, hard paint, medium paint, and this foam polishing pad is not going to give you the same result as working on, say, medium to soft paint as it would on harder paint, because it's just not going to move the paint as much as you need to get the result you need. So you as a detailer, you will need to do a test spot to see what result each pad is going to give you and see which one is going to work best for the paint you're working on, because you have to listen to the paint. Like there has never been a time where I saw a result, based on my test spot, and said, screw it, I'm just going to use what I want to use just because I think this is best. No, you use the best pad or best combination based on the result you get. So you have to listen to the paint. That is the only way you're going to really achieve success in detailing or using any product in a machine combination. So just something to think about. If you have some really soft paint and you polish it with a wool pad and you notice a whole bunch of marring, then you know your paint is on the softer side. If you polish some paint as well and with a wool pad and it comes out perfect, then you know you're working with harder paint. Does that make sense? If you notice you have really, really light marring after using a wool pad, then you know you have somewhat medium hardness paint. Right? If you use a foam finishing pad, with TLC Plus on some paint and you get almost no action, it still looks the same as before, then you know you're working with medium to harder paint, so you need to use a more aggressive pad to get some action or result from your action. So just something to think about. There is no one solution for every detail. That's not how it works. If that was the case, then everyone in the world would be a detailer if you could just tie one particular pad to one particular process. It is never always the same. So you should get away from thinking foam finishing pad is always used for finishing. Because if you're working with paint on the harder side, a foam finishing pad isn't going to do much of finishing because it's not going to move the paint. If you're working with really, really hard paint and you're going to finish, then you could even use a foam cutting pad to finish, depending on how hard the paint is. So you need to always think outside the box. Never tie one process to one particular pad or one particular combination, because every paint is different and you will need to adjust your combination or alter your method to get the most out of what you're working on at that time, at the temperatures you're working at, in the humidity settings you're working in. You just need to be flexible. You need to be able to adapt to get the most out of the situation. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that clears things up a little bit. So the correct answer to this question that I get almost every single day is have all the pads. Have multiple types of pads. That way, whichever pad you need, you will have, because it's never always going to be the same pad. So hopefully that makes sense, and it kind of clears, up this whole question that I get almost every single day. But once again, thank you all for the continued support. I'm going to try to get into making some more videos. It's hard to get started. I've bought some equipment to get more into it to make the process easier, to just kind of make it flow a little bit more. But I'm working on getting to that point where I make a lot more videos and put out some more content. So thanks again for all the support, and I appreciate the questions. Don't think I'm just tired of this one question all the time. No, no question is a bad question, but I'm just putting this video out to hopefully clear it up a little bit more for more people and help more who experience this situation. So once again, be flexible and learn to adapt. That is the only way. All right, well, enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully this information helps.